At last, the long-awaited development update on the Abyssal Crown. Who has been waiting for this? I have no idea. Someone surely. Ever since the last video, the scope has somewhat changed. There have been a lot of realizations, but most importantly, I learned a lot of new things and have actually gotten quite a good hand at combat balancing. Because let me tell you, to the average Doom player, the big encounter of Mappa 1 was far too much. Since then, I have worked on and added 3 entire new maps. Hundreds of enemies, tons of secrets, and when combined, these maps add up to nearly 200 individual scripts. What even happened to the idea of keeping it small? So, let's begin with 2 things I find to be extremely important. We now have a Discord server. Now, I don't know how active this is going to be given the size of my channel, but with the amount of support you guys have been giving me, both here on YouTube and on Blue Sky, I just felt comfortable enough to actually start it. Naturally, I want the server to be a hangout, but I also want some proper means of communicating with you all past the random Blue Sky post I make where I talk about how I raced Dante's ghost from Ocarina of Time in a dream or whatever. So feel free to join. I would love to see you all in there. Now to get to the actual development of the project. Let's start with what I consider to be the most important of them all. I have finally learned how to make PK3 files. This doesn't sound like much, but bear with me here. This is what the file structure of a WAD looks like. And this is how the file structure of a PK3 looks like. For the longest time, I had no idea how to make a PK3. I mean, hell, I had no idea what the PK3 even is. And every time I wanted to add something from a PK3, things just broke and I never understood why. But since then, a lot of time has passed and I have a much better grasp at how things work, and I realized that I am a bit of an idiot. Long story short, PK3s are literally just zip files. These folders should hopefully be self-explanatory. Textures go in textures, music in music, etc. This allows me to be so much more organized while also compressing the file size, which, by the way, is a whopping 230 megabytes so far, and that is compressed. Fuck me dead. Alright, so these things are out of the way now, and before I continue, let's take a gander at this comment. This person said that regardless if the WAD breaks when using Project Brutality, they'll still try it. I, unknowingly, booted up the entirely wrong version of the PK3, the one that had no maps in it, played until map 04 in Doom 2, and took to this comment and replied, "It's actually so broken that the map geometry literally doesn't load." If you're watching this, mate, I'm sorry. As a matter of fact, Project Brutality works, but not really, it doesn't. The maps load, however, a bunch of scripts are entirely broken, which ends up in a softlock. Enemy placement is also strange. For example, this encounter spawns cacodemons, although for some reason in Project Brutality it forcefully spawns in infernal cacodemons, which are only meant to spawn in tier 2 and above, I believe. I don't really know what causes all of these issues, because believe me, I love to make it compatible with Project Brutality too. Although, even if it does work, due to the way this mod is, the balance is completely chucked out of the window. And trying to balance this out for both Project Brutality and Brutal Doom is quite a difficult feat for a one-woman project. And with that being said, if I do end up making it work, I would not be opposed to making a Project Brutality version of this project later down the line. Obviously, I gotta get to the end of said line first, and I feel like we are pretty far away from it. Oh, I got somewhat distracted. Okay, so let's look at some new rules. I don't know how many of you watched the previous video. I recommend you do so. But one of the rules was no modded demons. This has technically changed. What happened is that I've learned that I can have as many secret levels as I want, and with that I thought to myself, what if I just take all of the creative liberty I want and include custom demons and secrets? So that's what I did. Obviously, I won't show you anything because I want you all to experience this on your own, but I think that's worth to note. Alternatively, I'm still considering scrapping this rule overall. I don't want to step over the line, right? But I want there to be special, quote-unquote, demon types that I can chuck at the player without having an arena that's full of unfamiliar demons. Like, I almost want to add new demons that fill a specific niche, so to speak, or a bullet sponge, or just melee fodder, or anything of the sorts. I very much enjoy all the vanilla demons, but I won't lie that there's only so much you can do with these. The idea is still very much in its infancy, however, if any of you want to actually discuss this, both the comment section and the Discord server are more than open. And now for something different. New things that weren't originally planned, such as cutscenes and voice acting.
Access granted.
Something I learned when I started to work on Mappo 2 is that cutscenes are so easy to do. A part of me was scared that cutscenes are going to be an ask to actually achieve, especially considering the tutorial I followed was a whopping 40 minutes long. But as it turns out, they are very easily achievable. Not only that I am now armed with this new knowledge, but I also have quite a few people that are willing to voice act, and I will say, there will be quite a few characters in this. I really just want to make this my own universe, so these two things opened a lot of extra storytelling potential, and I am unbelievably excited.
UAC data file report 4H3T67. Entry: Leader Demons. Usually heavily modified, these demons lead their hordes into battle, and as such their morale is unparalleled. Initially, they are invulnerable, however, they fall weak upon the sight of their horde falling. Take advantage of their shattering morale and kill them as quickly as possible, for the rewards are impactful.
If you've played through Doom the Dark Ages, you probably know exactly what this is. Leader demons are special demon types that are completely invulnerable until their horde is successfully defeated. They will be very tanky and are sure to keep you on your feet. Now, how do you go about differentiating them? Well, the game will let you know clearly what the leader demon type is. Once their horde has been wiped out, the game lets you know that it is vulnerable and ready to be killed. But it doesn't quite stop there. You really think that these demons add an extra challenge and that's it? Say hello to actual player progression. Leader demons, as well as specific secret encounters, will lend the player permanent stat boosts, such as extra health and specific ammunition types. This allows me to make encounters harder and harder as the game progresses, which should hopefully make it a more interesting experience. God, if you couldn't tell, I am taking a big fucking page out of modern Doom games. This is insane. Well, this is probably the most interesting part of the video. Because whilst I was yapping about the additions and new rules, I have heard multiple of you guys in the background ask, when can you play this? I am very glad that you asked that, dear viewers. I think I did this bit 3 videos in a row by now, by the way. Because the first demo is actually getting pretty close. Demo 1 of the Abyssal Crown is going to consist of the Rebirth episode, so that is going to be 6 mainline levels as well as 1 secret level. If I were to guess, the demo should be out by early April? Although I don't really want to give an ETA yet. I want to comfortably work on this without crunching or whatever, because last thing I want is to drop this project into burnout. Regardless, you will know when it's almost here. I'll be making teasers, channel posts, mini trailers about it, as well as keeping up to date with progress down in the Discord server. And that is all I had to say today. I am very sorry for taking as long as I did with this video. I have actually been sick for the past 2 weeks, so I've been sitting there waiting for it to get better before I got on my way to actually record a video. Originally, this video was actually meant to be on Reminiscence, but I chucked that on the back burner until I feel more up to speed to make a proper video of a style like that again. Alas, thank you so very much for watching, as usual, and I'll be catching you all in the next video.